Chant Arabe means Arabian song. It's marked andante, at a walking pace. I can just hear those camels plodding through the hot desert. It's the first piece in Book 1 in a minor key. It's in A minor. Right hand finger 3 starts on a C. The first note is marked with an accent. I would point it out to the pupil and to the parent in the score, what an accent looks like. And then tell them about how an accent needs to sound stronger, and how do we make a stronger note? By lifting the finger more, squeezing, by rolling through. Please squeeze me, in other words. So a bit of practice of please squeeze me until we get. Then the next note is shorter, it's down the scale, it's not on the main beat of the bar, it's not an accent. Just much gentler, much softer. Point the thumb when we get there. And relax the hand to a twinkle hand. Relax. Keep it legato. Practice chiming with the thumb. The next note is a little bit stronger because it's up a little bit higher. So lift the finger more and squeeze more. Legato between each of the phrases. The next note a little bit stronger again because it's higher again. Keeping the hand very, very level here that we don't tilt over. So a few please squeeze me's with finger 5 with a lovely level hand. And then a little bit less on this accent because now we're coming down the hill again. Legato into the next bar, bar 9, and then legato chiming. So legato from, now legato, point the thumb, those 2 bars are tricky bars, 11 and 12. Again, a very level hand here for the little finger. Perhaps some strawberry raspberry practice. The level hand. And then, not to be confused with the last 2 bars, 15 and 16. Again are tricky. So those 2 pairs of bars need some attention. I would chunk them. So if you take the last 2 bars, 15 and 16, that in itself isn't a tricky bit to learn. Then I would add 1 more note after repeating that many times, which is an awkward note to put in just there. So many times, finger 2. Then as a separate thing, I would take the end of bar 16. In itself, not tricky to memorise, though tricky not to tilt the hand. Then I would take the notes before that. I'd add 1 note afterwards, which is back to the beginning. So chunk difficult passages, practice small, relatively easy bits, and then gradually add a note before, add a note afterwards, put the chunks together. Then we get back to the beginning, the piece written in ternary form, A, B, A, which is very clear in the left hand, where the A section is the repeated fifths, and the B section is the octaves, and then the fifths again at the end. The fifths I like to be played very legato, chiming. pulsing. We've got 3 beats in a bar, coming down and squeezing more on the first beat, and walking in and lighter on the second and third. Do it with just one finger, just the thumb. Sorry. Just finger 5. Both fingers together. It's a sort of clawing, grabbing movement as fingers 1 and 5 play. Then in the B section, the middle section, we have the octaves. I'm thinking circles. They're ovals really, but think circles. We don't want to go just a straight line. It's difficult to change direction. We need to keep a twinkle hand all the way through, no stretching out. A twinkle hand, a level hand for finger 5. Avoid tilting the hand. Practice any twinkle variation. But please squeeze me will do, because we want quite a strong sound there. And then it's quite a big circle here. It's not just straight up here. It's quite a big circle. And then a pointy thumb, which is a sort of strawberry raspberry. Stronger on the first beat and lighter on the second beat. Very flexible wrist, no stiffness there at all. Pointed thumb. And then the last 2 bars, a nice deep rich tone. And fairly legato there, we don't want to. So practice. Hands together. It may be awkward putting bar 1 together. It's the dotted rhythm that we had in London Bridge, although now we're in 3 time. Practice the first chord. And it's easy to find our A minor chord. Hold the right hand and play another chord in the left hand. And that's been repeated many times. Find finger 2 while the left hand remains where it is. When that feels comfortable, both together, left hand, right hand, together. Again, don't worry about the rhythm in the early stages. That can be put back afterwards. Note by note, but once that first bar has been mastered, it repeats, the rhythm repeats. Bar 9, hands together. I like to keep this legato, not, and because we're having to be fairly short here, it's easy to, so practice, hold them both, hold the right hand and let go of the left hand, and move to the right place in the left hand. That round and round, listening for the legato, also helps to develop a really good circular movement in the left hand. It can be quite good just to start with the left hand, get this movement going, then add 1 bar of right hand. The last 2 bars, 15 and 16, can be troublesome hands together. So again, note by note or beat by beat, play all with the one left hand, and then note in whichever hand